contractors listened to me, rejected the truck, got a refund from the batch plant, and got a fresh batch of concrete. Other times the contractor has said, I don't care, I'm gonna pour, you'll report your concrete breaks and your sump values, and we'll send it to the structural engineer, and he'll see if it's okay. So he takes that risk whether he wants to reject the truck and say, I want something better, or I'm going to pour anyways because my timelines can't be slowed down anymore. I'm going to take the chance. In the cases where the contractor has poured inadequate concrete, there have been only 2 instances.
Oh, yes.
Said, you need to rip this concrete out.
That's a jump. Good lead, chef.
Luckily, in both those cases, it was for floor slab with my experience, so it was manageable.
This fucking shit is
much more difficult because if you think about it, if you're waiting 28 days to see if your concrete achieves that strength, half the building could be constructed, or even if it's a small structure, say like McDonald's, they can get built in a month. So the structure will already be built, and then you're being told that the foundation's no good and it's got to get ripped out by the structural engineer. That's a bad situation that you don't want to have to ever be in.
Snag off. Yo, you.
Next, we're going to go through the actual video of the lab being performed. So if
there we go.
Canvas and you're under your modules, concrete batch mixing and testing. There's a link down here that says concrete mixing lab.
I'm finna just get a big man, bro.
Unfortunately, for some reason, it doesn't embed the video correctly. So all you have to do is come up to the top where it says concrete mixing lab, like that, and it will bring you to the website
on the line.
was uploaded. Now, I'm still logged in, so it came up pretty
Shit
quickly.
is on the line. Jeff, don't please, sissy.
For your UCID and password to log in.
Oh, you showed me how it's done, that's what it is? Yo, bro.
Turbo one, just don't turbo. Don't hold R2. You need a speed. You gotta let go.
Who makes that?
Press R2 while walking the speed.
As per the standard ACI 211. Additionally, we are going to be taking the air content reading for 15 millimeter. We are going to be taking the slump with our slump test and our slump code, which will determine our workability. Additionally, we will be taking the temperature of concrete. And at the very end, we are going to pour the concrete into molds and put them in the curing chamber for them to cure for 7 to 28 days. So why are these tests important? Well, for one, we need to know the air content of our concrete, specifically in areas where we live or use
Chef, what if you catch that shit and shoot that shit again?
Air content in your concrete allows water to expand and contract without pressing against the
there we go.
concrete.
Wide open.
These slump tests specifically test the workability. Basically, how easy
I'm sorry.
So before we begin mixing, we want to batch our materials and go for our So we already have all of our materials pre-batched. I have our water, our fine aggregate or concrete sand, which I acquired from these bins, the coarse aggregate 3/4 inch stone, and the cement.
Sissy, you have faith in me.
Before he goes any further,
man, this game can lick my balls, bro. I'm not even... Bro, come on! How did he get that? How did he get that?
If there's concrete involved, at a minimum, there's always
Wait, how did he get that?
And you're always going to be passing concrete.
The ball was just on both of. Nah, come on.
Is that on any
Snatch.
that concrete is poured,
Take notes,
every 50 cubic yards, you would at a minimum cast a set of cylinders.
Shit, the only reason why you got that is because I'm doing a fucking
and
campus.
perform your slump test. Now, so you guys know for next week.
Oh, I got it.
As part of
And
this
then
video,
we
there's a
have
worksheet
this.
that you guys can
We
use.
have this.
So if we go back to our modules page, there is a Word document here at the bottom. It says PCC for
The
Portland Concrete
carrier.
Mixing
You
Lab
trying to?
Sheet Video Lab.
Wow. So you was tired of my 4 for 13 performance.
There's essentially a few fill in the blanks that you guys have to fill in as we go through this video. So I do have the link to the video, so you always can rewatch the video as well to get this information. But you're going to be basically filling out, you know, what was the concrete mix design strength that Steve George used in the video lab? What slump did he measure when he performed the test? What was the average temperature reading that he got?
Oh, they gave me play the game, of course.
One thing he doesn't go through, which I will stop the video and go through when we get to that point, is how to determine the wet density of the concrete as you're performing the air content. You're going to also listen for what the calibration of the air meter is. So essentially what he's pumping up that initial chamber to for an initial pressure. What was the approximate air content that was
Oh,
measured?
this all them might go with the
And then how many
foundation,
6x12 cylinders did he make?
the
How many
Patriots.
4x8 cylinders make? And finally, at 7 days, how
Patriots
much
trying
of
to
the
get 'em.
design strength should
What
be
they-
achieved in compression and how much in tension? So you're not going to develop the full 100%, and he's going to go through what percentage you should be developing at 7 days. And then if there's any deviations made when he's actually going through the lab versus the ASTM, which I will stop and at least mention one as we're watching the video. So, pretty simple worksheet that you guys just have to fill out and submit for next week as part of your homework. What this does is between the mixing lab that we're doing this week and next week we'll be going through the 7-day concrete actual break results. So we'll be combining those two labs to actually do our first laboratory report. So next week we'll be going over the 7-day breaks of the concrete that were performed in the video lab. I will go through what the requirements would be for the laboratory report at that time as well. That way
You
it's
already
fresh
up
in
or
your
what?
mind.
I also have for when we put the concrete into the cylinder molds, have more release, which is basically just a lubricant that is put in the cylinders and puts the inside of the cylinder molds. So when we
This shit ain't gonna work. Hey, Obi,
Yeah?
I need an excuse, bro. I need an excuse, a good one, bro.
What excuse?
To get out of work for 2 days. I need a good excuse. Give me something, please.
Why you trying to get out?
I ain't trying to go to work. I got places. I got people to see. I got money to make.
So typically when you mix concrete, you would take your pre-batch materials, them in a mixer for 5 minutes and let it mix.
So let me know.
And then you pour it into a drum or
Give me something good, Obi.
I don't know.
material and then
Jeff?
on your job site or having a concrete truck as it was being delivered. However,
Let's just call people like you
this
said.
morning, so I'm opting
No, cause then they gonna be like, oh, go get tested, and the test ain't gonna come back. Then niggas don't wanna. I don't got time for the dumbass job.
The radio.
You know what I'm saying? I am gonna say that for 2 days, they probably gonna be dicking me like, oh, it's actually they don't even dick. Nah, it's just the one nigga that be dicking me. It's
We actually just saw our first deviation. If you remember from the slides, it's supposed to be your cement and your fine aggregate first. He aggregate and coarse aggregate first, and then the cement. So a little bit out of order.
Think he gonna snag
So now that we
it,
have our
right?
batch concrete, we need to perform the slump test. So basically, what's going to happen is I'm going to scoop material into the slump cone, and we want to fill it as evenly as we can by volume in 3
Hold on.
layers.
Hold on. So this is the same team?
Base layer, a middle layer, and a top layer, and every single lift, we are going to run it 25 times to make sure it's compacted. And then after you fill the slump cone, I'm going to pull the slump cone off and see how far the concrete slumps, and then measure that based off
Obi,
knowing the total height
you
of
are
the slump
the
cone being
GOAT.
slumps. So
Don't go
before
on.
we begin, we need to wet down our materials.
Who? You said something about snag out. There's one snag in the building. That's me.
Yeah, I wasn't supposed to shoot that.
No, you didn't.
So I'll put the thermometer
Take a shot. They make success in the world, you know, just like you,
No, that's not what my job is. I'm a rebounder. I can't shoot if I ain't getting the right shot. That last game, I would have passed me the ball, bro. Look. Watch my snag hard, get it. Fucked.
I'm trying to clean up all of the concrete around the base slump.
Look at my snag.
I don't have brick wall or nothing.
Alright,
So
now that you have the slump cone tamped
Look at the snag guard, yo. The snag guard. He opposite interference like shit, boy.
You want to try to be as smooth as possible. So let's see how it goes.
Look at the sauce.
Okay?
Snag out, snag out.
He's actually doing the slump
Yo, you
test
just let that
on a
happen.
steel can. So as part of ASTM requirements, the slump
Oh,
test
yeah,
has
just
to
run straight down.
perform on a
Yes, sir.
non-porous material.
Oh,
So what that means is you can't be performing
What
it
the
on soil or
I
piece of
pulled away and
wood.
that shit dragged me
What
back in.
happens is if the
Tough.
material is absorbent, it's going to absorb some of the moisture from the concrete and it could affect your slump test results. So this is actually a
Yes.
common error I see from a lot of the site inspectors when I'm visiting job sites, and I've seen
Who you got
before
compared to,
with
John
slump
Moran?
tests, is they necessarily won't always bring with them something that's
Thank you,
non-absorbent
chef.
material, such as this metal
Without me
pan,
getting work.
or even a piece of plastic, or they actually make plastic platforms.
And then
to
we
perform
have
the slump
Obi.
test, and they'll be performing it directly on soil and wood, which is right away a red flag.
Now knowing that we have our slump cone at 12 inches,
GG, quick, my guard out. Okay, this quick.
I thought you was finna set a screen. That's what I thought.
Also, it's straight 86 overalls, nigga.
measure to the bottom of the rod, have a slope of approximately
Why didn't you take that up?
5.25.
Hot zones in my thing.
So our slope a little more wet than we were expecting, but still within range. So we have a slope of about 5.25 inches. So now let's check our temperature reading.
Why is this shit having me slide every and anywhere? Like,
About 80 degrees Fahrenheit, which is a little warmer than usual. However, it is
My
about
bad.
80 something degrees in the lab right now, and you can tell by my sweating. After the slump test, let's move on to the type B air here to measure the air content in our concrete. So the first thing we want to do is make sure that the gasket on the inside of the lid is clean. So we'll take our sponge and wipe that off real quick.
So I'm just gonna pause it here for a quick second. And
Shep, don't help me. Don't help me. Don't help me.
Extra step commonly done. It only
If
takes
you
about
help,
an
don't
extra
run
2
all the
or
way
3
to my
minutes.
man. Just fake
Is
it.
that you want to determine what the wet density of the concrete is. Okay, that's what's shown on our homework sheet. So some of these values I've given to you, so it's the weight of the air content chamber. So the air content chamber,
This screen's gotta be lethal.
Like that shit is a.
okay, is this piece right here. It's this bottom bolt. So you
Damn,
weigh
Jeff, don't
that
pass. Don't
first.
pass.
In this case, we have it as given of 7.7 pounds. Okay. Then, as he's going to show, is he's going to fill this chamber up with concrete, and then you would weigh it again. That would be the weight of your concrete with the chamber, and that's given as 36.21 pounds. Now, the volume of this chamber you would then need. So the volume is 0.25
Oh
cubic
my!
feet. So density, which we know from a lot of our other classes, is mass over volume. So our mass would be the weight of the concrete and the chamber, 36.21, minus the weight of just the chamber, 7.7.
No, I don't got no
0.25 cubic feet would give us our wet density.
I got a better chance of getting the rebound than making that. Your fault.
My fault?
Man, low body.
That wasn't my man that scored. I need that. They gotta bless me. What the f- $2 It's
Oh
over.
my god, like
I need my badges. What the fuck was? What the fuck? I'm hop stepping. I sold. I fucking sold. I hop step. How does a hop step turn into an automatic shot? If anybody say anything to me, I'm on your ass. Obi, I better not hear a word from your bald-headed ass neither. Cause you know what happened. That shit was a hop step. I really can't believe this shit. What the Shaq? Come on, bro. You did it for me last year. Help me.
I used the same one from last year.
So you gonna act bougie now? You ain't gonna let me know the jump shot.
I said it's the same one from last year. No, same. It's the same. They didn't do nothing different. It's the same thing. They just changed the meter and the part.
This shit trash. Maybe I gotta take off the shot. Maybe I gotta take off the shot. Because I'm not hitting shit with it on.
You guys gotta learn how to shoot. It's like you gotta focus on the meter. How to the meter thing gonna confuse you. Just know your release. When I shoot, I don't be. That's why I took off my meter. The meter's like a distraction because when you shoot, you're trying to focus to put it in
I'm
the
looking
middle.
at the meter, not the.
Know your jump shot. I just be pulling. I just know when the release is. Like you press square and you looking where the aim the thing is. It's gonna make you miss.
So obviously, if we were doing the wet density determination,
I'm gonna
before
put this
we would
this
put the
stuff shit
top
on.
on, we would be reweighing this to find out what the weight of the chamber and the concrete fill was.
Check of the gasket underneath the lid. And it's imperative that the gasket is clean and beginning of seal, or else we're not going to get an accurate reading. So let's see, get this lid on. That's good. want to effectively put water in one side on this valve, and hopefully we'll see the water come out the other end.
So if you notice, he's adding water to the concrete. So what that's doing is you're actually going to be affecting your water cement ratio, but for the purposes of this test, it's going to help you determine what the air content is by using the pressure meter. So what that means is this concrete you can now not use for making your cylinders or doing your salt test. It's considered waste. You would just throw it away or get rid of it. Because you're adding water, you're affecting your water cement ratio. So if we were to do this ourselves in the lab, what that means is part of your calculations that you did to determine your mix proportions, we would have to account for the extra 0.25 cubic feet volume of concrete because it's waste. We wouldn't be able to use that as part of our cylinder calculation.
That's a good sign. Right here.
I'm back, Jeff. You gotta leave the drum up.
Shut these two valves off on the lid. Make sure this valve is closed as well. So now when we are pressurizing the top chamber, this top chamber has been calibrated for 3% air. So if you look all the way on the right-hand side of the gauge down here, over where you see initial pressure, you'll see the number 3 is a little more bolded. That's where this has been calibrated to. So what we want to do is pump this up until we get to 3% air, and then after we get to 3% air, we'll release the air in this chamber, depressurize, and it will give us our air content reading of our bottom pot. As long as there's no leaks, this should be pretty easy. So you can see the gauge settles a little bit.
Okay. Alright, let's see.
It went a little too much, so we want to depressurize the top chamber just slightly.
Hmm? I'd rather the Cardinals win than the damn Packers.
Okay. Bring it back up. Bring.
Do you think I'm worried?
Okay.
Do you think I'm worried?
Don't worry about us. Here with Stephen A. Smith.
Okay, so now we had our
I
second
didn't hear
deviation
nothing.
with one
And I don't want to
showing
hear
us.
nothing.
So he did show that he
didn't
pressed
say
the lever
nothing.
down to release the air
Go look at it.
in this
Go
chamber.
look.
Not
to
looking
reduce
at
the
it.
air content within the concrete. However, if you look at the
Make the
ASTM, as you
I don't
press
know
this
why.
lever down, you're actually supposed to strike the side of the
It's
bowl
Jordan Love team now.
with a rubber mallet as well. What that does is that allows any free
I won't be
air
surprised
that
if they get
potentially is
those there.
trapped to be released at the
Cool,
same
cool.
time to get an
Kansas
accurate
City?
gauge reading. So that's the second deviation for this video.
Trade? Yeah, who did trade in Tyreek Hill?
So we are
That's not gonna
reading
happen.
about 2% air content.
I think we should go to
2% with his
the
mix,
right
which is
side.
actually very good. Now, if you remember from our mix design calculations, we assumed that the concrete
That's
was
what Obi-
non-air entrained.
Icon.
And if we remember from our
And they look
ACI
like
211 charts, even if it's non-air entrained, the concrete still has its air content.
Oh,
Based on the mix that was chosen,
oh, you had that.
and the maximum amount of aggregate size that we can use for
Uh-oh,
concrete,
Sheffrey!
the typical air content for non-air entrained concrete is around 2%. So his result was very successful with the test.
2-4. Uh-oh! Oh.
So we completed the air test and the smoke test.
Uh-oh, Chef, you see that green on the first shot? Ah, I feel the juices overflow. Ah, that's my fault.
So we can see how many cylinders
That's me,
is going
that's
to be
me.
filled.
I'll switch.
We have one 6x12, and it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 4x8s, but I think there's also another one hidden back here. I believe he's gonna cast 6
Obi took out the meter too. Oh! I like that. I got the suit. Why am I doing that now? I don't want to do that all the time. Just snag, please. Jeff, how many rebounds you got?
So we just finished up our mix.
Oh, ready.
I know this man definitely not call my name, bro. You doing that shit on purpose. You know I cannot shoot. I cannot shout unless someone not talking.
There needs to be an identifier.
I need full concentration.
That way you know when it was cast, on what date, so you can track when the 7-day, 28-day mark is, what project is for, and what the design strength is. So typically what that includes is, it's a little piece of paper that is attached
Bro, I
to
swear to
a
God.
piece of
My way.
that gets inserted into the concrete.
Obi, not a
and kinda
word.
hangs
You,
over
I
the
hope
side.
Obi
That
in
way when you
class,
cap
cause I
it,
know
you
he's
still have
been
the
talking
paper on
so
the
much
outside.
shit by that. They
The
be
purpose of
doubling
this is
this
so that when
man.
you remove the mold, you still have that identifier with the steel probe in the concrete and the paper attached to
Is
the
my shit
steel
like?
probe. That way you know
Hey,
which
when do I get?
cylinder
Oh
is which,
my.
and it can be properly tracked in your curing
Damn.
room or in the field. Now,
Obi.
one of the bigger mistakes I've seen when
All
people
day.
cast cylinders in the field is they write on the side of the cylinder.
Okay.
Now that's great
Obi,
for
I don't want to hear
the
your
first
brother's
day,
admitted snack
but if you remember, the ASTM procedure specifically tells you that you have to remove the
How
concrete
am I
from the mold
shooting
within
early?
24 hours. So by writing
What
on
the
the side
fuck
of the
is
mold,
really going
and then the
on,
mold gets
son?
removed, well, now I
I know
don't
he's
have
your
a unique
brother's gonna support
identifier
him,
for
but
that
you
concrete.
have to give it to me.
So then you're thinking, okay, can I just rewrite the numbers in a Sharpie on the side of the concrete cylinder that's starting to set up? Well, you could try to. However, since the concrete is actually being cured in a
Jeffrey doing this shit on purpose.
because of part of that humidity control, a lot of times there's water that's essentially misting lightly in the room.
This shit is trash, bro. Oh my god. I am 1 for 12, bro. What is? You screenshot my downfall? Yo, I have no badges. Like, no. I have no badges. Y'all want my?
Let him shoot again, and then you just voice performance.
This chef, you don't have to bring this clip out, bro. Oh yeah, there it is.
Okay, so at 7 days, you should be achieving 60 to 70% of our ultimate compressive strength for the concrete cylinders.
Going for
But how does that
15.
relate to tension? So if we remember from our concrete class, concrete is stronger in compression than it is in tension. So there has to be some correlation between the two, right? Because I'm sure someone has done a PhD paper or done research behind the correlation and relationship between the two.
I have my fun. I'm really gonna end it. I'm gonna make it. I promise.
10% of your compressive strength of the concrete. So that means that 28 days, if I'm getting 100% of my concrete strength.